Let's now get an update from our reporter Nqobile Madlala, who is stationed at the scene to provide us more details. Nqobile, what details do we have, or has there been a press briefing to give some indication of what officials at the hospital want the public to know about the situation there?
Madlala, what we've seen is some of the officials going in now. We've seen a couple of MMCs going in to sort of get that briefing. We've seen a couple of people who want to hear what the mayor will be saying, but we are told that they're no longer going to do the briefing today. They are going to be providing a briefing tomorrow, though, where they'll be able to give the media. But of course, they're still looking in terms of what time they'll be able to do that. But what we also have seen is that the firefighters here that you see behind me, a new team, in fact, who have come to relieve the ones that were working much earlier, and that will give you an extent in terms of how much help is needed and how much the fire has been ongoing for. But I want to bring in now PSA, because PSA comes in as the people that will be representing the workers that are here, but also who are aware of the concerns in terms of the hospital. So I want to bring them in to speak to us about these details. We know that you are here as one of the people that are concerned, but obviously Tembisa is no stranger to some of these instances.
Good evening, and thank you very much for having us. We are deeply disappointed for the fact that we have raised these concerns about non-compliance with occupational health and safety issues before. Last year, not so long ago, it was around November, we raised these issues. The Department of Labor and Employment came here and assessed the situation, and indeed, the hospital management was notified about the non-compliance issues. The documents were given to them to show them where they don't comply, and they were given up until end of February this year. We gave them ample time to fix the issues here. We have raised issues about non-compliance. The hospitals, we raised it. This hospital is on a brink of a total collapse. We have said that. It is dilapidated. Nothing is working in this hospital. The walls are cracked. The electric wires are hanging, and from what I heard, although it's not confirmed and investigation still has to be done, apparently a ceiling collapsed and the wires sparked fire, but that will still have to be confirmed.
In the concerns that you raised as PSA, right, was there fire and extinguishing and that kind of safety a concern?
Those were the concerns. The hospital was not compliant as with regard to the fire extinguishing equipment and many other things.
So now that you come to the hospital, what are you coming to do?
Well, I came here to check whether the employees in the hospital are okay. Luckily, we received reports that no one was injured. Even the patients are safe. Thank God for that. But this thing cannot be allowed to continue. Something has to be done urgently to address these issues once and for all. This hospital needs urgent attention. This hospital needs to be renovated, if not rebuilt from scratch.
And as PSA, are these concerns that you have raised with the provincial as well as national in terms of health?
I can confirm that after we raised the issues last year on the media, we were contacted by the officials from the Gauteng Department of Health. We even asked them to come with us here so that we can show them what we are complaining about. But nothing has been done, unfortunately.
All right, thank you very much for speaking to us, Madimetja. He does come from PSA, and he's just giving us details about what PSA is concerned about, especially when it comes to the well-being of the employees, but also the structural safety of the hospital. And I'll bring in now a person to speak to us about fire. And I know that you come from the fire department. You have seen two teams that have come in here to assist. Can you give us an idea, how is it looking inside?
The fire is well contained, and I can say it completely extinguished. Yes, it's completely extinguished. We have scaled down our vehicles. The team that is here, they're doing what we call a dumping down, just to make sure that if there is any hotspots, then they will deal with them.
Eric, this obviously comes at a time where people have their loved ones inside. They're concerned about smoke smoke inhalation, all sort of things could go wrong. Can you confirm that all is well and that people can't suffer from that?
No, really we can confirm. Where there was fire, it was not in the wards. It is in the casualty, you know, when the patient just arrived and then they started to do the assessment around those patients. So the section of the wards is far away from where the fire was happening. And we can attest to you that all the patients who were there, they've been taken off. I believe that there is no any injuries to any person and no even fatalities. That's the way reported.
All right. And just briefly, if you can explain to us, the gentleman that was here is from PSA and he's saying to us one of the concerns was that the hospital doesn't have the facilities to ensure that if there's a fire breaking out, they would be able to extinguish that. But I imagine your teams on the ground are assisting with that. But was there a way for you to maybe get water from a fire hydrant or anything like that?
Around the hospital, we've got what we call the fire hydrants. And they've got water. That is why we are doing what we call a relay to our pumps. So there was just enough water. That is why we have got the tender fire engines that are here, or what you can call the water tanker. But because we had enough water around the facility or around the hospital, then we were able to connect. So we didn't struggle in case of water supply.
Eric, thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate it. What Eric is talking about is, of course, what is taking place behind us. As you can see there in Nhlanhla, what we are hearing is that as they came in terms of assisting, they're saying that there were facilities that they were able to use. They're saying that there was a way to get the water, and with all that took place, they're saying it wasn't very hard. But now I'm going to be joined by a gentleman who's basically representing a councillor within this space. And I want to ask you, whilst we're looking at what is taking place there, sir, as a person who's representing a councillor here, you were one of the people that were first on the scene. Talk to us about what you saw and how is it different now?
Yeah, when I reached this place, there was a lot of fire, so there was firefighters trying to maintain fire. But then my concern was the patients inside, because of this is our community. Being here, I represent the councillor and I'm a ward committee for health in this area, so I'm very much concerned about the safety of our patients, because of it seems as maybe there is sabotage or something happening internally. It might be a political sabotage, it might be a departmental sabotage, but let's hope that the department will do a full investigation in order to get all the information from what happened. Yeah.
And I mean, as a person who is responsible for health within the space here, can you give us an idea how many issues have you faced or have seen taking place here in Tembisa?
Yeah, there are a lot of things that are. There are a lot of things that are happening. Even now, if I can tell you, as a ward committee, I've seen that there is a new CEO. I don't even know her. Yeah, so a lot of things are happening. There is a new CEO, new management. We don't know them. We as stakeholders, I wasn't invited for her arrival. But today, because of there is an incident, when we ran in, that's when we started to know one another here. So the scene here is very, yeah.
As a community, what would you say you need from this hospital?
No, what we need now is the safety of our patient and good management, because of we don't need corruption, because of when we see fire, there was a fire in Charlotte Makeke. There was fire in certain hospital in Northwest. So we start to get fear that motive is coming also here in Tembisa. So we don't want those things to happen in our hospitals.
And of course, I suppose that's why the officials are here to investigate such things. And those are the investigations that we're hearing about, of course, that are actually taking place right behind these walls. We have heard from the mayor that they will investigate where and what happened and why there was a fire in here. And we know that they will be able to brief the media probably by tomorrow. They're no longer briefing us at about 10 o'clock, at 9 o'clock as they had requested, saying that they will give us an update. But it does speak to the fact that there's a lot of briefing that has to take place behind these closed walls. But as we stand here, you can still smell the smoke. You can still see some of the firefighters that are on the ground. But we know that Tembisa has had various incidents in the past, not necessarily on fire, but with some of the patients that have complained about the services that have been provided by this tertiary hospital. But what we are hearing from PSA is that they're saying, even though there were some of the investigations that had taken place in the past, they feel that not necessary actions were taken. And so they are saying that they're unhappy with what has taken place here. And because this is a concern for them, they're then coming in to ensure that the employees are also okay with what has taken place. But we have heard from disaster, from Eric Maluka, just explaining to us that everyone is in a good condition and that they have managed to evacuate everyone, and they're saying this is taking place in a separate area. But what they're focusing on now is some of the hot spots where the fire could be taking place.